east side of the house. Slab foundation. Post-tension slab. There's different types of slab foundations. Post-tension slab being one of them. There's a couple of different types of post-tension slabs. I don't know which type of post-tension slab this is. They're all pretty good. This is a retaining wall. If it's less than 4 feet high, a permit does not have to be pulled to build it. Usually, whoever has the high side is responsible for maintaining the retaining wall, but I can look through the neighborhood and see retaining walls are a very common part of this development, so the homeowners association might be responsible for maintaining this retaining wall. But I don't know. It's not what I do. What I do know is that I've been taught that if a retaining wall is farther away from the foundation than twice its height, a 45-degree angle, then in theory it should have no effect on the foundation performance, and therefore it is beyond the scope of a TREC inspection. So I'm not responsible for this retaining wall. Brick is a very good building material. It's fireproof. The house could burn down. Fence next to the house like that, that's conducive to wood-destroying insects, termites. We're not doing that kind of commercial, that kind of inspection, and most people like fences. But this house could burn down and you could reuse this brick. And it's conducive, it's a very good insulator too, against the elements, temperatures, well, against temperature, heat and sound. But it's very porous. That's one characteristic of it. So that's why we have these weep holes. And those weep holes are necessary. Most of the time, the only thing that comes out of those is vapor. You'll never see it. If you have an event, I hope you don't, you can actually see them weep. But those weep holes are necessary. Sometimes people have like a problem with ants or something, and they'll fill those in, and you do not fill them in. You might they have some little plastic inserts that are porous, that have holes that you can stick in there. Some people put rock wool in there or something. Steel wool, excuse me, not rock wool. But we need our weep holes. Something's going on with this faucet. Okay? You'll see it in a video coming up. It came apart in my hand and I was able to get it back in. So just heads up on that. This is called a shrinkage crack. Some people call them corner pops. Call it what you will. But if it's in the span of a hand and it goes back this way, that's not a foundation problem. That is not a foundation problem. It might be a termite problem because termites can go up through those cracks undetected into your structure. It might be a brick problem because it's holding up the brick right here at this corner. But it's not a foundation problem. What happens is, for a variety of reasons, the concrete slab shrinks and it expands and contracts at different rates in response to the environment. And for different reasons, the brick actually grows and it expands and contracts at different rates in response to the environment, humidity and temperature and those kinds of things. And since they're expanding and contracting at different levels, and one's actually shrinking and one's actually growing, and you'll never be able to measure how your foundation shrinks, or you'll never be able to measure how your brick grows, but because all these elements are happening, the pressure comes out at the corners and we get these things called shrinkage cracks, or corner pops, call it what you will. You want to come in here and seal them every once in a while, but that's not a foundation problem. No, we're not doing a termite inspection either, but wood mulch, okay? Where do termites live? In the ground. What do they eat? Dead wood. What's wood mulch? Dead wood on the ground next to your house. That's called a clue. That's called a clue. Now these are double pane vinyl frame windows, very energy efficient. They got UV tints on them, that's good. Alright. Now every part about a window structure, okay, you see it's designed to shed water away from the structure. See that? Now so we have these weep holes right here. Kind of like the weep holes right there. And the weep holes. Now we have these things called weir traps that fit inside of these. You can buy a whole bag of them for like $12. And they keep the wind from whistling through there. And debris. I don't know how much debris they're going to keep out of it, but they keep the wind. If the wind's blowing just right, I mean, this house could play like a flute. I've heard it. So, and so we're missing all your window screens. Got some notes here somewhere. So we're missing 11 screens. So that means that we're missing, well, I said we had 22 weeps, but there's only 2 weeps on this side. I had to recount the weeps, but we're missing all the weeps. All the weeps. Oh, Amazon's come in. I didn't even see that guy. Moving on along. Some of the sealant around these. This is not a bad one. Some of the sealant needs to be resealed. Now, this is an interesting feature about the house. This is neither right nor wrong. But I'm just sitting here and enjoying the home. And I'm looking, and we got windows up here, and we got the faux shutters. And then in the middle of here, we got a faux shutter and no window. And I just, by design? Is that an architectural detail? I don't know. We got continuous soffits. Okay, so we're going to be curious to learn how we address that in the attic. I haven't been in the attic yet. Anywhere you have a fenestration that's like French for door that has brickwork over it. Okay, you have a lintel holding the brickwork. See these windows up here? They're not supporting brickwork. All right, but the garage car entry is. And anytime you have a lintel supporting your brickwork, you're supposed to have another weep hole. And you've got those. Just kind of explaining. Metal overhead panel door. Exterior light fixtures have been sealed. You want to come back. You do. You want to come back and recheck these things. I'm about to show you why. And you think water can curl in there and get up in that little hole right there? I do. You already know about this. I was already picking on it on the roof section. That first roof video. I was. I tried to make a special video about grading and drainage for everybody's benefit, but my phone kept ringing. So, I mean, clients, I want to talk to them. So, some of the other phone calls were less important, but all the same, grading is pretty good around the house, but the drainage is not. It's level. Okay? So, now the builder will tell you if it doesn't dry in 48 hours, then they consider that a problem. I consider relying on evaporation instead of drainage to be a problem. It doesn't meet the definition of drainage to me. I've written quite a bit about this inside the report. And if I didn't butcher that other little video too much, I'm going to add it for entertainment purposes. It's loud out here, the wind's blowing. I'm grabbing my hat. Toss the candle. I did not do this, and I can't put it back. It's going to stand a better chance of staying where it landed than if I pick it up and move it again. All this, I did not move any of this. Now here's interesting. Okay, this is the flap, the vent fan, bathroom exhaust vent flap. You want flaps on them. You want flaps on them. It's a good thing. But on a day like today, they will chatter and rattle a little bit. Okay, and that can be a nuisance. But the benefit is that they do not allow moisture back into the bathroom. They do not allow air-conditioned air to escape your bathroom. Those are good things. They're required. But you may have a nuisance. Now this little gizmo up here, okay, that's your fresh air induction, because this is a very tight house. And in certain parts of the country, they're not required. Their screens are prohibited from being on them because the screen could freeze up and then starve your furnace in the coldest day of the year. that's not what we have a problem with here. Here we have a problem with birds. And this municipality requires screens. And all of them in North Texas actually require screens. These are called control joints. Some people call them expansion joints. Call it what you will. But when you have this much wall in North Texas, it's going to move. So the idea is this is supposed to take the stress so that it doesn't crack between the bricks. That's why we have these things. And because it is a sealant, we want to come back in here and reseal it every couple years. It's a maintenance thing. Like this receptacle outlet over here. See that? It's time to reseal him. It's time to reseal him. Now the builder might do it on the first year, or might not, and just say, well, that's on you. That's maintenance. That's routine maintenance. I've heard that before. Got a camera. Hi. Love and kisses. This is another sewer clean out, like for the kitchen. It's not the main sewer clean out. The main sewer clean out's in the front flower bed. You're going to see that on a video coming up. But it's pretty, boring is good. Boring is good. And I'm not, that's a dirt dauber wasp nest up there. They want a home too. This is where we started.